going to take on the lighting effects of the Earth. Did you see that? I now have the same lights, in this case the sun, coming here from the left and casting across toward the Earth. Fantastic. Again, if I hit my spacebar key, you can see that the Earth is still spinning, but we need the moon to start revolving around the Earth. Now check this out. As I toggle down my Earth movie texture layer right here, you can see these great new settings I have here for adjusting 3D objects. As you can see here, I can adjust 3D object position, camera position, rendering settings, and cross-section. In this particular project, all I want to do is object position. I'm going to move to the beginning of time here at the 0 point by moving my current time indicator. Then I'm going to click here on the time vary stopwatch for 3D object position, right there. And when working with 3D objects, you must use 3D object position, not the standard position up here at the top. Now I've set one position right there. I'm going to move in time to the end of my 10-second standard window right here. Then, going up to this great new feature right here, the axis widget. I'm going to select this control point right here on the widget so I can start to rotate this around just like this. I want to bring it all the way around over here to the opposite side right there. Now, check this out in the timeline window. When I let go of my mouse, a new keyframe appears right here. It's recorded that position. And if I select my 3D rotate tool here from my tool panel, we can actually see how the numbers have changed. Here you can see that my Z value is a minus 171.1. If I click on this icon right here in my animation timeline window, I can jump right back to the first keyframe in this set. Notice that my current Z value is 0. Just so you know, you can rotate things around their center point 10 times. So to do that, let's pop back over by clicking on this icon right here to jump back to the second keyframe. And you could actually enter in the maximum value of 3,600, which would give you the moon traveling around the Earth 10 times. But in this case, you can actually enter in an exact value of 360 degrees so that it only goes around once. So now if I hit my enter key and then my spacebar key, you can now see the moon travels a little bit slower than the Earth because the Earth is being defined by a movie and the moon is being defined by these keyframes. Here's the next great feature found in CS4. That's the ability to go in and add something called ray tracing. Ray tracing will actually add shadows. Let's give that a try. To do that, I'm going to, of course, target my layer over here in the Layers panel. And in fact, if I double-click on the layer thumbnail, it will automatically bring up my 3D scene panel, as you see here. Right here, clicking on Render Settings. Inside Render Settings, up here at the top, you can see that it's currently set for a face style of solid. Now keep in mind, I always set up my animation in the solid mode because it's much faster. And then when I'm ready to take a look at shadows, then and only then do I select Ray Traced. Things will slow down. As you can see, when I select Ray Traced here, I now can have reflections, refractions, and shadows. In this particular case, I do not need the Earth reflecting its light back onto the moon, so I'm going to turn off reflections. But you may want that for different projects. I'm now going to click OK. Let's close this down and check this out. I'm going to move and click here in my timeline, and I want to find the point in time where the shadow starts moving across the Earth. Cool. So we can see here the Sun, Moon, Earth alignment is now casting a shadow onto the Earth in a similar way to a solar eclipse. However, I noticed something about my shadow. It doesn't have a soft edge quality to it. if I go back in here to my 3D scene panel and select this icon for filter by lights right there, I can actually go down here, target the light that I want to soften right here. Then I'm going to go down here and select softness. Clicking and holding on this, I can then move my scrubby slider over to the right, and we wait for a moment, and there it is. It's now softening the edge of that shadow, very similar to the way the moon's edge would be softened through the Earth's atmosphere. Fantastic. So now we've set up that quality. Let's close this down. We would then go through and double check all of our settings here for our keyframes, but in general we can hit our spacebar and we can start to see this process, these different frames one by one. Now, because I have ray tracing on, the processing is very, very slow. As I said, if you're trying to get your keyframes to accurately position things, turn off ray tracing until you are ready to start to render your final image. This is looking great. My next step to finish this project would be to go to the File menu, down here to Export, and over to Render Video. I could then render this video at different settings, different sizes, different qualities directly here from Adobe Photoshop CS4. And don't forget, Adobe Photoshop CS4 now supports sub-pixel rendering. That means that the animation will be really nice and smooth. There you have it, fantastic new animation controls. Give them a try.